Not
to put
really,
you on the
but
spot.
I guess I would like to kind of touch back with the last episode. You mentioned that guy, that Navy SEAL guy. What's his name?
David Goggins.
David Goggins. So I checked him out, and I think this kind of ties in to, you find I really related to this guy when I looked him up, because the stuff he was saying about where he was in his life, about how he was almost like victimizing himself and down in the dumps. It's like sometimes that's the mindset I get, and it's hard for me to break out of that. But this dude was the most intense dude I've probably ever seen. I can't think of someone more intense. But I checked him out, and holy cow, man, what a transformation. Holy cow,
Absolutely.
Thinking about the stories he was telling about where he was, in a dead-end job he wasn't wanting to do. He was unhappy, unhealthy. And then he's this dude that I think he was talking about at one point. He ran 8 weekends in a row, so 8 different races, and they were all 100 miles each running. 8 weekends in a row, so 800 miles in 2 months. Like, the intensity.
Yeah.
And I just admired that so much about his story before and getting to that point. I don't know what you were about to say.
Yeah, he's running crazy, but like he was probably one of the most out of shape kids too, like growing up. Like there was no fitness to his life, and then he overcomes a pretty I guess violent would be an okay word to choose for the household that he lived in.
Yeah.
And then just constant. I mean, there's so many times where he just got put down, rejected. No, you're not good enough. And you look at him today, and you'd believe that he, has had the best life since day one. And I feel like I'm glad you mentioned it, because he's definitely someone. If you're going through something right now, anything at all, I would highly recommend checking him out, because if we can't do it here on this podcast and help you get through it or anything like that, I'm sure he could, because he's been through some shit, and he is definitely on the other side of that spectrum now, and just like just trucking and going, and he's got some good wisdom to share. So audiobook, check it out, but you can just go to YouTube and just David Goggins, and I bet you'll get some crazy good insight.
There's a lot of him I found, and what's good about him is, I think we were saying it before, like you see the end result of dudes that are like The Rock and all these people that I can't be like that, but when you hear his story and see the pictures and all this and that, and his mindset, I saw right through his like chiseled exterior, and when he was talking about himself and how his mindset, how much he struggled, I was like, holy man, that's me a lot of the time, craving for something more. Like I can push myself more in all aspects. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily like the message, just work harder. You know what I mean? Just for the sake of working harder. But what he did is he found an answer that his soul was craving. And it's incredibly inspiring because of the story of where he's come from and what he's went through. And I don't know, we're talking about hardships, and we're seeing that's how someone who's completely real, how they deal with it and how they bring other people up. And that's incredible. So we don't get enough of that, around people in real life. Sometimes it's hard to surround yourself with these incredibly magnetic, hardworking people. And just look into him. Just get through that. If it's coming across as he's being too intense or cheesy, it's like a motivational guy. It's like, this guy again. But once you know his story, man, it's like he's all of us. He's all of us that struggle with whatever.
Find some kind of relation that you can to him, because he'll say something that'll just have you think like, wow, is he talking about me right now? Like, and I don't know. I definitely check him out.